Guys, welcome to the On Wheels TV review video about the current product available by United Racing Design for Assetto Corsa, and specifically the current PX1 product. So after the release of the Darsh PX1 that we are watching in the footage for the United Racing Design Endurance Racing X PX mod for Assetto Corsa, we did release a review video when the mod was released for another sim brand, R Factor 2, but due to a lot of requests from people who watched the R Factor 2 review but were also interested in our opinion about the product for Assetto Corsa, here it is, our review. So I will not promise to be talking throughout all the time in this video. This video is going to be around 15 minutes, but I'll try to give you as much an inside view as possible of what is our thoughts, my thoughts, On Wheels TV thoughts about this release. So there are some differences when we compare this release with the Assetto Corsa, with the one for R Factor 2. First of all, in terms of the graphics. The graphics, of course, are different because we are talking about different sims, but the main thing that you must bear in mind is that the graphics are absolutely brilliant, because we are talking about products released by United Racing Design, and they are not known for releasing bad stuff. On the opposite side, they are really known for the high quality of their product wherever it is, or whatever it is. In this case, it is endurance racing content, and in terms of the graphics, absolutely brilliant. This Porsche is a delight to see. Such is the accuracy in terms of the detail. We call it Porsche, but in fact this is a Darsh. So the accuracy in terms of the detail is absolutely awesome. And we will say also the same about the other two cars which are here in this review, but let's talk about them when the time comes. So now we will focus on this one. The car looks absolutely brilliant. In terms of the physics, it is also an excellent release. It is also within the quality tradition of United Racing Design, and in this case, when we compare this with the content released for R Factor 2, there are also some small differences, because the physics act differently in each one of the sims. But the main thing is that also in this Assetto Corsa product there are differences, and you can feel differences, a quite significant number of them, when we compare the physics of each one of these three cars. So this car, it has the engine, it has a lot of power, it has a lot of torque, although not the same torque, not as much torque as the one in the Audi, but this car is really pure in terms of the performance. In each one of the three cars, and in that matter, the Rebellion, or the Revolution, is the one that does tend to be more forgiving in terms of when you delay a braking. It is more forgiving in terms of the weight of the drag. But in this case of the Darsh, and also in the case of the Audi, the car is really unforgiving in terms of when you brake a little bit later, you will have to spend a lot of time trying to get back on the right course, because the weight of the car tends to push it forward and to cause severe understeer. But that is only when you're braking late, because in the rest, this car is kind of pure in terms of its reactions, and it's a lot different in comparison with the Audi and with the Revolution. So in this car, when you try to brake in corner entry and at the same time shift gears, you have to be really careful, because the car tends to be really loose in the rear, and it will cause you problems. So if you are driving aggressively with the car, you have to bear that in mind, because otherwise you will have a lot of problems when braking in turns and shifting at the same time, because the rear will disappear on you. With the Aura, the Aura is a completely different matter. The Aura, aka Audi, right, guys? So the Aura, when we compare this Aura here with the Aura that we already tested and reviewed from R Factor 2, this car is also heavy as the one we found and identified and mentioned that in the R Factor 2 review, but maybe because of the way the physics and the tires work in the Assetto Corsa sim, the car here is much more drivable. So when we drove this car at R Factor 2, we did mention that people would have to go on early braking to also in mid-turn, in turn and corner, mid-corner and corner exit, go accelerate earlier than with the Darsh or with the Revolution. But in this case it is a little bit different, so you do manage really well to drive the car and to keep it on power, also when you are braking and when you are, for instance, using the shift, you are shifting gears while reducing gears while braking, and we did spot that, for instance, in this circuit, this absolutely brilliant circuit, which is in our opinion the best to do a review about these three cars, because it is a high performance track for high performance cars, and that is probably why this is our favorite GP track in the world, the Silverstone track, because this is absolutely perfect, especially for this kind of cars. So here is a good example of when you brake a little bit later with this car and also with the Darsh, but in this case even worse, the car will understeer easily and you will lose the turning point. And this is the turn, for instance, where I was telling you about, because the car here, you go from 6th or 7th gear till 3rd gear, and you are braking to that left turn before, you are braking and trying to keep the front of the car in the apex, because after that turn you will have a slow right turn. So it's really about reducing but keeping the front where you want it to be and not losing the rear. And in this Aura you can do that in absolutely perfect conditions and still be able to use the torque. The car has absolutely an absolutely tremendous amount of torque always available in the engine, and when you compare the lap times of this Aura with the lap times of the Darsh, they are similar. It's a little bit a matter of how you use each one of the cars, and maybe from driver to driver there's one driver that can be a little bit faster in the Darsh. Some drivers may also be able to be faster in the Aura, but the cars are similar in terms of performance, but they do drive differently, but they do really provide a thrilling sensation when, for instance, here is flat out 6th gear and you can feel the car bending and the tires working, and you almost feel like you should lift the foot because it's going to go out of track, but you have to believe, and as long as you keep it on apex, these cars perform absolutely brilliantly. And from the onboard camera now we will see what I mentioned before. So in this turn you go to 6th gear, you don't go 7th, and then you reduce while turning, and look, 4th, 3rd, and you keep the front where you want, now 2nd, and the car performs just like if it were on rails. You know, it's a perfect balance of chassis, perfect tire management, and the car performs absolutely brilliantly. And guys, if you invest in this mod, because this is a paid mod for Assetto Corsa, you'll have a tremendous amount of fun with this car, because this is high-tech and you are actually driving high-tech. You are not driving hybrid cars as they are in real life, because it is not possible to simulate the performance and the way an hybrid engine works on a sim. So far it is not possible to simulate that, but other than that, the cars perform as they perform in real life, and that is for sure a tremendous amount of fun for users. And doing this for what, 7 or 8 euros? Come on, guys! The drivers in these cars are in real life are driving cars that cost millions. So what is 8 euros for you to drive a simulation of these cars? Absolutely brilliant stuff. Also for Assetto Corsa. So it doesn't matter. It's basically what kind of sim you choose to buy this content and use it and have loads and loads of fun with it. And for R Factor 2 there are ups with using this, like the tire management, like really knowing and watching how the car gets worse lap by lap. Here the process is a little bit slower, but here you can enjoy an absolutely brilliant graphics and some physics that are also graphics. For instance, in the way the driver handles, you can see from the cameras. And sometimes you really see this as perfect as if it were for real a driver on track. You can see the hands moving and the head moving and stuff that you won't see at R Factor 2. But it is absolutely brilliant stuff. Top of the line content for sure. So this is oh guys, do we love this car? This car is is a thrill to drive. We said that also on the R Factor 2 review. We say it here also. This car is absolutely a thrill to drive. It does perform like a pure race car. The other two are technology exhibits, and this one is a pure racing car with some tech. It is not as performant as the others. It loses just as it did on R Factor 2. It loses around 2 to 3 seconds a lap. But aside from that, the car is absolutely thrilling to drive, and also a little unforgiving, but less than the other two. But to hear the way the engine roars, and to feel how efficient is the chassis of the car is makes our driving exercise a blast, a true blast. Especially on a high-tech track such as this one. It's not just because FIA uses this track for as part of the calendar. It is because this is one of the best tracks, if not the best track in the world. It's not comparable with Le Mans or Bathurst or Nordschleife, but in terms of high-tech tracks, this is, in our opinion, the best track in the world, and the best spot to drive all these three cars and truly understand how they perform in this sim, and to be able to share our humble opinion with you guys. So this is great content. It will be updated and increased in the future with one other car and then one other car, because we hope, although Nissan retired from the development, so at least that's what we heard in the real life of the LMP1 Nissan car. We hope that United Racing Design still is planning to do still plans to do this the virtual version with a different name, Shiro or something here, and there's also the Toyota, which also has a different name here, and it will be the next product to be released for this PX1, for this PX1 content, for this United Racing, for this Endurance Racing X PX mod. So yeah, guys, those of you who were waiting for our review, we hope we didn't let you down. We tried to be as honest as we could. Look, the balance here is also really good. The dash, in the dash, we could also see in this onboard camera that the car was really balanced, but we had lots and lots and lots of laps in this track, and with the dash it was really difficult to keep it in balance on that section of the track, and it was really easy to lose the rear in that section of the track, as in others, because sometimes you are so committed and so focused, and you are believing so much in the efficiency of the car that you tend to go a little bit with too much speed to some corners, and then only in the middle of the corner, when the car loses all of a sudden efficiency, you realize that you should have been a little bit slower on that part. Not with this Revolution car. The car is really balanced. The real problem in this car is that it lacks a little bit of power in comparison with the other two, but other than that, the car is really balanced, and continues to be the one we enjoy driving the most, because it's the one that provides more pure driving sensation. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.